Hey, it's Workdom Crafts. Welcome to my first official video. We're gonna make a gift card holder. Let's get started. Alright, first things first, you gotta measure your gift card. I made mine the size of a standard business card. Alright, so now that my template is sized out, I'm going to give it a nice border that'll essentially make up the holder part of our gift card holder. I'm going to unlock a simple square in Design Space, and I'm going to stretch it out until I feel like I have a nice border on each side with extra space on the top and the bottom of the gift card. Now that my border is done, I'm going to go ahead and grab a semicircle from the free shapes in Design Space. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. You can either type it up top or you can rotate it using the arrow handles like I was doing below. After that, you want to size it so it'll fit a good width of your gift card, because this is going to be the little tab that fits it inside, and you're going to need two of them. So you want to duplicate one and you're going to flip it so that it is going to hold the other side of your gift card. Now just make sure they're in a good spot, center them up, make sure that they're aligned and they hold a good portion of your gift card. If it only holds the edges, it's really not going to do anything for you. Now it's time to add a very thin offset to our gift card holder. This thin offset on the semicircles will allow us to actually pull out the tabs that will hold our gift card in place. So right now I'm giving it like the smallest offset possible without it going to 0. And then after that, I'm going to take my offsets and slice them. Remember, you can only slice 2 objects at a time, so I selected the half circle and the offset and sliced them individually. You only need the very thin outline layer. Everything else you can delete. Now that I have the basics for the pull-out tabs and my gift card holder base, I'm going to group everything and duplicate it so I don't mess up anything permanent like when I start slicing. Just in case I make a mistake and need to go back, it's always a good idea to have an extra copy. So it's a good thing I duplicated, because I did it originally and the tabs were way too far apart. It would never hold the gift card. So here I am back at the beginning, and we are going to duplicate it again just in case we make a mistake on this one and hide that duplicate. Now we're going to ungroup our half circles in our card base, and we're going to go ahead and make sure they actually fit our gift card. I'm making them yellow so I can see how much of the gift card they're actually going to hold. I want the gift card to fit about halfway to 3/4 of the way into the tab on both sides, just to make sure it really has a good fit. So you can see my top one is way too far up if that is what I want. So I'm moving it down, and then once you have it sized the way you want it, I'm going to go ahead and weld the 2 tabs together, only the 2 tabs. So move that gift card out of your way, your little template, and weld only, right now, my yellow gift card, just the tabs. Once those are welded, it'll make it easier to slice everything in one go, so you won't have to worry about that 2 things at a time rule. Now that our tabs are welded, we're going to go ahead and select both the tabs and the card base, and we're going to click Slice. Slicing is going to remove just the tabs from the base, and then remember, there's always that cookie cutter effect, so there's always an extra piece in there to take out. So you want to remove everything until you have just a thin outline around the semicircles. And right now you can see me checking and making sure that it holds what I want it to hold still. And then after that, we're going to see how we can get rid of that extra gap at the bottom of each tab. Because right now, if you're looking, I opened Contour so it'd be easier to see that these tabs are completely separated from our card base. And if we cut it out like that, it's just going to fall out. There's not going to be any tabs for us to use. In order to seal off our tabs, I'm going to grab that square from Design Space and I'm going to make it super thin. It does not need to be thick for this, as it's only going to be blocking off the bottom portion of our tabs. And then once we get those the way we like them, we're going to duplicate it and add one to the bottom as well. Once they're added on there, we're going to be able to weld them to our card base and that way it'll just block off that little bit and it'll attach our tabs to the card base. Now would be a great time to pause and check that your card base will actually fit your gift card. So if you have your gift card ready, maybe pause this video, click make it, and make sure that these tabs are fitting the way that you want them to. Because if they don't, then the rest of your card is going to be all messed up and you're going to have to go back to the drawing board after wasting a lot of cardstock, and we don't want that. So right now you can see me checking to make sure that my pretend template is fitting, but you really want to cut this out and make sure that they fit the way that you want it to, just to make sure you're not going to waste the rest of your time for cutting out the rest of the pieces. Now is also a great time to save your project. You can see me renaming the little gift card pocket that I made just so I know what it is if I ever have to hide it. And I'm also going to take this time to save my project, especially if you're going to try to cut it out just in case Design Space crashes or whatever. Now you have your hard work saved. Now that our hard work is saved, it's time to do some fun. We get to design. So I picked this pineapple. I got it off of Creative Fabrica. I'll put the link in the description. But right now what I'm doing is I'm going to ungroup it, and I'm going to weld those cross hatches to the outline of the pineapple so that it'll all be one piece, because I think it's just a tad too many layers and it's going to make this project a little bit harder. So I'm going to pick them, weld them, and then I'm going to change the color to black because I thought the gold looked kind of weird. Now that I have the pieces the way that I want, I'm going to go ahead and group them for this next part because it's important that we size all of them together. We're going to make sure that this pineapple is going to fit our gift card base, which will fit our gift card at the very end. So right now I'm sizing it. Sometimes you might have to even unlock it just a little bit to make sure that it will fit the whole thing, because right now I don't really want it any taller. It's already almost like 8 inches, and it's gonna get bigger than a piece of paper soon. So I decided to unlock it and make it just a little bit wider because it seemed to be fitting height wise okay. Once you have it sized the way that you want it, it'll be time for the next step. Now it's time to complete our card. Right now we just have separate pieces. We're going to turn it into one beautiful card. So what we need to do first is ungroup our pineapple, because we need to take the green and the yellow from it. We're going to duplicate it, and then we're going to weld it together because that's going to make the back of our card. Now, if you have an image that is symmetrical, you can decorate the whole back of the card if you just take your pieces and flip them, but my pineapple was not symmetrical, so I couldn't do that. So now I just put it in black so I know that is the back of the pineapple. And so now I have my front that's decorated, my back, and my gift card base. Here is the time to put them all together. Right now I'm sizing it and making sure there's no issues where it's touching the sides, because that's going to be the back and I need to make sure I have space to put the glue. And now I'm going to take everything and I'm going to center them up so they're all in one like nice neat pile for me. I'm going to move my gift card back to kind of where I want it to sit in the card, and then I'm going to start creating the top pull tab. To create the pull tab, I'm going to grab a free square from Design Space, and I'm going to unlock it and size it so it fits the entire top of the pineapple to right up against the spot where I put the gift card holder. This has to be unlocked because it's just slightly too skinny to cover the whole crown of the pineapple because it's nice and spiky everywhere. So I'm going to unlock it and I'm going to drag it out just a little bit more. Now you want to make sure you don't overlap the gift card base too much because you don't want to take away from where you're going to be putting the gift card. You want to keep that pretty much where it's supposed to be. Now that I have my square sized correctly, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it enough times so that I can cut one from every color layer that I have on my pineapple, because this pull tab needs to go all the way through. If you have one piece that's solid, obviously it won't open once you glue it together. So I'm going to end up with 4 squares, 1 for each color. And I'm actually going to go ahead and color code them for you after I center them up. and then I'm going to realign them to where they belong on the pineapple. Now it's very important that you don't move any of the layers of the pineapple or any of the squares before you slice. So right now I'm going to color code them for you just to make sure that we know kind of which ones we're slicing. So the black one will be for the cross hatches, and for the top, the yellow will be obviously for the yellow part of the pineapple. This last square I'm going to change to green to cut off the crown. And then this is where I realize that I am missing a square because I need to do one for the crosshatches. But of course that's black too, so I'm going to change the crosshatches and the square that I'm going to coordinate with it into a nice gray. So I know the difference between the crosshatch layer and the background layer. Alright, now it's time to start slicing. Remember, do not move any of your pieces before you slice. You can only slice 2 layers at a time, so I'm going color by color. I sliced the black first since it was on top, and that's going to remove the crown layer from the background layer of our pineapple. So now you can see me moving everything apart, being careful not to move pieces that I have not sliced yet. I'm only moving the slice results from my original slice. So now that the top of the pineapple is sliced, you can also move over the bottom part as well. But I wanted to go back and I wanted to move them as one just in case I misaligned something like that. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the next couple layers of slice since it's going to be the same thing. Before I went ahead and sliced the layers of the pineapple that had all the colors on them, I forgot to mention that you should also ungroup them so that it'll be one layer at a time to slice. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed up the slice layers. All of our pieces are now sliced out and we're ready to do the final touches for our pull-out card. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get our pineapple kind of situated here. Here I am modeling how it's going to pull out as long as we do it right. So it's going to start closed like that, and you're going to be able to pull on the top of the pineapple card and reveal your gift card inside. So now that it's ready, we're going to make the middle into a pull-out, because right now it's just a gift card holder, kind of like a pouch situation. You could try to get it apart. I don't really know what you would do, but we're gonna make it so that the top of the pineapple is connected. But before we do that, we do have to make sure we have an extra layer for the back. Remember the background I was talking about? I decided to go ahead and make an extra layer just so we can have a black background on the front and on the back. So I'm renaming it so I remember why I even made those layers, because as I was making this video, I forgot. So I'd renamed it Outline Black Back Bottom, so I know that that is the bottom of the pineapple and it gets glued to the back because it is plain. I did the same thing to the top, so I remembered what I was using it for, and now we're just going to set those pieces to the side and leave them alone. Now we're going to go ahead over to our pineapple that we're going to use for the pull-out tab. So we're going to ungroup everything because we only really need the black layer for this one. And we're going to weld the black layer to the gift card base that we made in the beginning of this video. So that's going to act as the connection between the two, and I want to make sure that it's nice and centered on there, and I'm going to zoom in really quickly to show you that it needs to be touching, because you can weld them all day, but if it's not welded and touching, then your materials will not be one piece. Especially for a cardstock project, it's really important to remember that. So now that I know that they are not, there's no gaps in between, I know that they are touching, I'm going to weld it. And the weld is really the moment of truth. You'd be able to see a little gap if there was space in between. Now that I have my center pull-out tab where the gift card is going to go, I'm going to change that back to black where it was. And I'm going to just kind of resituate the pineapple and everything else back to the original form it was in. Alright, so now I have everything situated. I changed my crosshatches on my pineapple back to black. Right now what I'm doing is making sure that my gift card truly fits in my gift card holder for the last time before I start cutting it. Right now I changed it to yellow so I'd be able to see it in the background. I'm going to zoom in just a second just so you can see. It looks good to me. There's only a little bit of white grid showing through, which means that the card will be taken up mostly by the loops and it should fit in very nicely. Now that we know that everything fits, I went ahead and modeled one more time how it's going to open and making sure that everything works on the slide out tab, and you're done. Now you're ready to save your project and go ahead and you can click make it. Before we click make it, I'm going to just hide the gift card template because it's not really necessary to cut it out because you're going to obviously put your real gift card in there. Now, you can use this on 12 by 12 paper or you can use it on 8.5 by 11. I just wanted to model both to show you how many sheets of paper you would need. You really only need 2 or 3 sheets of black, and that's the most. I did try to consolidate that for you and see if we could get it onto 2 sheets, but I had no luck. Everything was just slightly too big, so you really do need that 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11, or I believe it was only 2 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock. You want to use like a decent weight cardstock, but I don't think you need anything more than 65 pound. Solid core would be the best for this project just because you will definitely be able to see the edges. Or if you don't have solid core but you do have ink stamps, you could definitely ink the sides, give it a little bit more dimension and everything as well. Alright, that's everything I have for you today. Like I said, that's how you make a pull-out gift card holder. I think it'll be really cute for whatever little project you want to do. You can make it a graduation cap, you could make it a birthday cake, whatever you really wanted to do with it. It makes it so much nicer than just giving a plain gift card, even inside of a regular card. And on the back, you could even use white paper to make sure you can write your message on it for whoever you're giving it to. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like my video, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see how to put it together. If you would like an assembly video, put that in the comments as well. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!